Oh my god, I finally found a tier list that's not just good, it's amazing. I've been wanting to do a tier list for a little while. After my channel has gotten grown and I got new viewers, I felt like, hey, it's time to do another one of these tier lists. And goodness, this is a really good one. This one, it goes until Gargolem, which means we're missing Barbadger, Holly Bunch, and Celestine. So I'll just say where they are right now. So every Loomian here will be ranked by PvP, except for things like reskins and the Arapago forms and icicle colors and stuff like that. I'll rank those based on design and how much I like them. Same with Jellicite and Cleone. Those ones will go by that. Now I'll just say where Barbadger, Holly Bunch, and Celestine are right now to me. To me, Barbadger right now is an 8 or 9 out of 10. Dauntless is a great ability as a garbage defensive type, which helps it, and its speed is in the middle speed tier. That is perfect for a boots user. So Barbarian with boots, I believe, should have speed everything besides Gargolem speed, and Gargolem speed doesn't really threaten it. I mean, offensive ones with Boom Bash, sure, but not only is offensive niche and rare, it doesn't want to switch into an Ice Hammer, or in general, even Rogue Assault. It only wants to switch it on Clay Slap. Speaking of Clay Slap, that's a great coverage move for it. It's got a ridiculous offensive typing, and Clay Slap makes it even better so that it can threaten Bar Blast and stuff. It's really strong. And I think Bar Badger goes to 8 out of 10, especially since, like, common spirit types, Harvest Sector is weak to ice, Vesperatu takes a lot from Ice Hammer, stuff like that. Holly Bunch. I haven't really seen Holly Bunch develop after the buff. I'd say it was a 2 out of 10 before the buff. Now after the buff, I don't actually know just how much better it is. So say that the OG Holly Bunch is 2 out of 10 and the new one is a little more, I guess. I don't think it's that much more. It's not super buffed. And the final Loomian is Celestine, which I use Celestine a lot, but honestly, it's not that great. I think we go 5 out of 10. It's not that great. It's a very good checked up Sigil gun. It can be very offensive and defensive. It's a nice barb setter, but it's kind of outclassed. It's kind of it's kind of outclassed at those things. It's outclassed offensively by Valkyrie and defensively as a barb setter. I think Seer Knight's better because that's terrifying. Although Celestine is I do still use Celestine a lot, and I actually will be doing a video on Celestine soon because it has a brand new move I want to try out. Alright, now we're gonna start ranking these guys. Seer Knight I think goes into the 7 or 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good Loomian. We'll go 7 out of 10. I personally use Seer Knight quite a bit. It's like most people use it as a very defensive barb setter, just like me. And it also has slapdown for utility and decent stabs. As a nice defensive typing, you do need to be careful about its quad earth weakness, but honestly, I've seen some Seer Knight just randomly live Earthquake from Himber. So that's pretty good. Just checking the audio, of course. Now, Seer Knight, it's not it. There is an issue with it. It is kind of passive sometimes. Like a Phage Knot can spam Magnify against Seer Knight. That's what I mean when I say passive. You're giving something free setup. So yeah, that's Seer Knight's issue. I think it's defensive. It needs to be a little bit careful with defensive typing because it has 4 weaknesses, maybe more. I'm not sure. I know it has Brawler, Water, Electric, and Earth, of course. So yeah, I've seen people still use Awakening Seer Knight every now and then. I think that's pretty interesting, but I personally don't think Awakening Seer Knight is very good. Alright, next. Luminami, I gotta put into 9 or 10 out of 10. I'm not a Luminami user, but I remember when I kept hearing Luminami the best Lumian. After some updates, we gotten quite a few Lumian that can deal with Luminami, like Sea Drake, Baneki. What else is there? I know there's some other stuff. Okay, other stuff that can deal with it. Halvantic, that's something. That's a recent one that can deal with it. But it's still really good. It's a really, really fat melee wall. It's really good at its job. Flash and Flee is a great pivoting move for it. It's so slow. and it can flash and flee. It's a great slow pivoter like your snack to like get your frets in while healing Luminami because of its really good power napper ability. Other than that, I don't really do much, but it can surprise people with a melee set and hit plant types with Mega Chomp. I I think Awakening Piece of Mind dead. I don't know. I haven't really seen it much. Tatap. I think at this point, Tatap is a really strong Loomian. 8 out of 10 for me. I'm Tatap. It does. It hits really hard at Timber Flash. So now Spirit types don't really want to switch in. And if you try to switch in like your Revenine on the Tatap, you'll get two shot by Timber Flash. If it's boots, it'll just kill your Revenine. I'm not using that example for any other reason. It's not a specific thing at all. Yeah, so Tatap is a very prediction reliant Lumion, but if you can get the prediction right, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's very strong. Is there like any Lumion that like hard counters Tatap? Okay, Harva. Harva hard counters Tatap. Stuff like that, and I think a couple of air types Snagoop can kind of deal with it a little bit. So yeah, prediction reliant. Very prediction reliant. But if you like I said, get the prediction right, you're set. Poison the Harva and I guess I don't know what you do with Snagoop. I guess it's swap. Valkyrie, I hate Valkyrie, but man, I actually have no idea how good Valkyrie is. I definitely don't think it's good though. I definitely do not think it's good. I think it's too slow for an offensive Lumion. And it's not bulky enough, and it's weak to slap down, and it's not that bulky. Like, it just has too many cons in my opinion. Not a great defensive typing. Not a great, not great, very bad, not very bad, but pretty bad speed for such an offensive Lumion that isn't very bulky. So it's kind of a stall killer, I guess. Besides, like, it can take the hit and outspeed like Venolin and the tanks. But I don't think Valkyrie's that great. Vesperado is a really strong one. I think Vesperado goes into a. I think Vesperado's fallen off slightly, ever so slightly. So 8 out of 10. I think it's better than Tatap though. I think Vesperado has to be better than Tatap. It's a very strong slapdown spammer and has reliable recovery and revival, so I can consistently spam slide down throughout the game. And it has really strong priority shadow sprint. Its tankiness is like it has some decent melee defense. Not super high, but it's got some melee defense. And it can easily get onto the field too with its brawler immunity, and it can switch in like once on a Ursul shadow sprint. And there's a quad slapdown weakness. Like, come on, Vesperado is great. Its primary weakness is the quad light weakness. So like you're against a light type, like a Luminami. You can slap down it, but you will die if you choose to do that. And Luminami is probably just gonna heal after that. So yeah. And also it can't really threaten things like Seer Knight. Fire types are Vesperado's primary weakness, at least in my opinion. And Obsidian. Of course Obsidian. But like most melee attack, I struggle with Obsidian, like Tatap and Seer Knight. Even Seer Knight, the metal type. Alright, so Himber, I personally want to rank Himber higher. I keep hearing Himber as the worst starter, and I'm not super sure why. I guess I'm putting 5 out of 10. I'll let you all decide. I think Himber is great. Like Bar Badger, really strong offensively. You can't switch into it. I've swept so many people with Himber. So I guess I'll just leave it at 5 out of 10. Zulong, I think is the best starter, in my opinion. You can disagree, that's okay. I personally think it's the best starter. It's such a good late game cleaner. It's really strong offensively. Zulong's main issue is Tyrex, Sedimars, and Venolin. But it has pivoting moves to deal with those. You can just pair it up with, well, honestly, Tatap, and destroy everything. Zulong is once you remove its threats, it just kills. And it's not too hard to lure in its threats that see so much action every game. Just bring like a bunch of Lumians weak to Tyrex and Venolin, and then just overwhelm your opponent out by having to switch him repeatedly, get your barbs up, and stuff like that. That's how you deal with those. Zulon can definitely do it. It's a very Pokemon strategy, but it works. Rainbow Twilight, the design, eh. I don't like that they gave it Rip the hex stats. Umbret, I personally don't think Umbret's very good. It does have the niche of Chase Down, so I'll put it at 4 out of 10, but not better than Valkyrie. And I might be putting it too high, honestly. You know what? We're putting it at 3 out of 10. I don't like you as much as the Twilight. I did use an Umbret in my playthrough and spam Gloom Fangs, but I'm gonna no. Umbret Overshadow Chase Down is cool, but it's just not worth it. Luxor, I think, is now that Umbret has his niche. I think Luxor's worse than it, not by much, but still. Similar reason to Umbret, it's just not that strong. And Eclipse, oh my god, this beast, this stupid beast. I hate this thing. Eclipse, okay, well, as of recently, I haven't been struggling with it as much, so I guess I'll put it at 9 out of 10. But it's really good. It ruined Vesperatu, switches it on every dark and light move, has a setup move, has scapegoat so I can set up on stall teams, and a pretty good toolkit of an offensive combo. Once I got Dark Surge, that really set the clips off. Because now I can threaten Luminami and things. That was real. That was a. Eclipse is really annoying. It's a really annoying Lumion. Prope, I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue how good Prope is. I guess I'll just put that 3 out of 10. I'm not too sure. I guess we can say it's more viable than these. You are not good at all. You are very frail. You are not super fast, and you are weak. I think Cinemoth goes to 1 out of 10. I call it Cinemoth. I've heard people call it Cinemoth. I don't know. Sumobito, I personally really like using Sumobito. I'll put it at 5 out of 10. I know in reality, Sumobito isn't that great. But I do think that Sumobito's priority is really, at least, can consider it useful. And Bulk Up is a good move. And, I mean, it can't take a hit to save its life. Except when you're switching it against Protogon, that got a melee attack boost. It can switch in on something. It's got a low health stat, but it's got solid defenses and pretty high attack. And, of course, the stat moves and the double strike ability is really good. So, yeah. And it can threaten, like, the most common spirit type, Vesperatu. That's the most common, right? I don't know what the most common spirit type is. But if Vesperatu is a really common one, and you can parasitize it. You can parasitize Nevermare. That's probably the most common spirit type, actually. Avatros. Oh, the old Avatros design. Okay, I guess I'll rank these both by design then. I'll just say how good it is right now. Avatros, I don't think is good. It's probably a 4 or 5 out of 10. Which is unfortunate because I like Avatros. But it's not strong enough. And it's way too frail. I didn't know its stats, its defenses, were on the same level as Dellatrix. You know, Dellatrix. That stupidly frail Lumion. Wow. So Avatros, I guess I'll go by design. The design for this, 10 out of 10. Top notch design. This design really reminds me of Staraptor, but tweaked quite a bit. It's a tweaked Staraptor design. The old one, I see why they changed it. The goggles look so goofy. It looks super goofy. And it's not that different from Twitter at all. This just looks like Twitter with goggles. It makes so much sense to change this. I didn't like it back when it was the OG design. I love the new one. It looks super cool. The scarf and everything. Oh. Swolder, we're going to go back to PvP. Swolder is probably honestly, it's probably a 4 out of 10. Which is sad because I do use Swolder. I could be wrong. You can prove me wrong. Convince me Swolder is good, please. Because I like Swolder. Brawn Boost Offensive is pretty cool. Boots is a weird one, but it's also pretty cool. And I guess the most common one, the defensive Swolders, they're pretty annoying. They're really good at checking plant types and bug types. They're really good at it. And I guess dark types too. The issue is Swolder has a garbage energy stat, not that great of general stats. And I mean, it's very vulnerable to any toxic type, any thing that can at least switch into it. It can just grab a poison and die. Snagoop destroys it. Uh, Avatros, I guess has a Mysterious does it can set up on it. A Mysterious does Loomian also really does beat Swalder because Swalder really needs poison. So a Crackaloa can just set up burn ups against it. Florent, alright, you going 1 out of 10. I don't know what Florent does, but I only know it's useless. Terrafly, I have no idea how good this is, but I definitely don't think it's good. I think Terrafly goes into the 2 out of 10 tier, but I like it a lot more than the old Avatros. I think Terrafly is a pretty strong offensive Loomian, and good covering the rough up, and ambush is a great ability, but I just don't. I think it has too many checks to it, like Solder, and things like air types, like the aforementioned Snagoop, things like those, and even like they don't have to resist. They can even be weak to it and be fine, like a Himber. Himber can take an ambush rough up plus another regular rough up. Terra Claw? Terra Claw is definitely a significant improvement. I personally think Terra Claw goes into. Is it better than Valkyrie? There's no way it's better than Valkyrie. I'll put it in 4 out of 10. Maybe Swalder's better. Maybe. Because I've heard people keep telling me Terra Claw sucks. Terra Claw sucks. I personally don't think Terra Claw sucks that bad. But I don't think it's great. It's a very strong Loomian. It's got good melee defense. And of course it has the ridiculous range defense of Slick Shell. And yeah. And good coverage. Cyclone Slam can hit bug types. Parasite can hit generally hard and give it the only healing it can get besides Health Amulet. Rough Up is great coverage, of course. Really good coverage. And Mega Chomp, that's a nice strong move. Nice strong coverage. Eerie Stare is apparently viable, and I have no idea why, but it just is. I guess for like 1v1 scenarios, I guess like a Bar Blast. Not any specific scenario, just saying. Alright, Ragoon, again, another one that I don't think is that great. I think Ragoon, I don't actually know what Ragoon does. You know what? Give me a second. I'll put Ragoon U here first, but I'm going to create a new tier. Add row below. IDK Lamau. White color. I have no idea how good Ragoon is. Then the Santa Ragoon, I guess we can just say, I think the Santa Ragoon's pretty fun. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Borak, I think Borok's a pretty strong one. Borok can go into a 7 out of 10. Is it better than Seonite? Absolutely not. But I think it's a pretty strong 7 out of 10. Like a pretty strong one. Maybe, actually, I'll move it down to 6 out of 10, but it's still pretty strong. Hits really hard. It's a really good boots user. It is, again, like Tatam as a boots user, it's a prediction reliant Loomian. If you Earthquake into the opponent's air type, that sucks, but if you Mega Chomp their Himber, you're in trouble. If you're Raging Tackle their Himber, you're in deep trouble. So yeah, it's pretty vulnerable, but if you make it work, it's great. Elaguana, I personally think Elaguana goes into the 6 out of 10 tier as well. It's pretty bulky. It's a really good range wall. It's really good at being a range wall. Could be 5 out of 10. You could convince me, and I'd believe you. I don't see that many Elaguanas. And it's completely countered by plant types. You know what? You're going down to 5 out of 10. But you're better than Himber, I guess. To other people, not to me. I think Himber's way better than everything. Not everything. The other Elaguanas, I'm going to say it, I don't like any of them that much. So I'll put the brown one goes into 1 out of 10. Silver one 2 out of 10. Yellow one 1 out of 10. Ruby one 1 out of 2 out of 10. Green one 2 out of 10. And blue one 2 out of 10. I think the brown and yellow is disgusting. Gastroc is supposedly the worst Loomian. I think it's gotten better, but not by much. I think Gastroc goes into 2 out of 10. Stratagem definitely helps it, but not enough. And it's too vulnerable as a melee in the melee side. It just allows things in. It's really weak. It's not worth using, which, I mean, it's kind of sad. I think Gastroc's pretty interesting, but no. Halloween Gastroc, it doesn't look right to me. I feel like there's a few things that could be tweaked a bit. I'll put it in 4 out of 10, but I think it could be tweaked. This Gastroc, though. This Gastroc. I love this one. 9 out of 10 for this one. You know, I should probably put the reskin design like the back. So the Rainbow Twilight goes at the back here. I think that's a good way to organize things. It's not appropriate though. That's just appropriate itself. Wiki. I don't know where to put Wiki. I think it goes to a 1 out of 10 here. Mudslide is good for Wiki. It recently got that move, but it's not enough. Bequeath is also pretty fun, but it's outside by Taoshinu, the primary Bequeath user. No, it's just not good. Chartiki though, Chartiki is pretty good. I think Chartiki goes to 7 out of 10. It's a really nice defensive Loomian. It can do quite a few things. It can do Burn Up, it can do Barn of Volcanic Ash, and it can probably do more than that. I just don't know. And it can run. It doesn't run Plant Stab, but if you really want to, you can run it and surprise an opposing Borok, I guess. Any like Earth type. Besides Himber, you want a Fire Breath for Himber. I think I Life Drain, but you probably don't have Life Drain because the standard set is Fire Breath, Muck Blast, and your healing move. It actually has 2 healing moves: Photosynthesis and Rejuvenate for no reason. So Chartiki, I think is a really good Loomian. It can take a lot of Loomians, water types. It can tank. It can switch it. It can switch into something as strong as Himber. I believe. I believe it should be able to do that. So yeah, Chartiki, great defensive Loomian, has a lot of variety to it. Waka Laka is unfortunate because I think it's a really funny Loomian, but unfortunately, I do not think it is good. It might be worse than Gas Stroke. Could be wrong. But I think it's worse than Gas Stroke. I'll put you into it then. Way too slow. Garbage defensive typing. You want to set up Bane of Haze, but you're probably never going to get the chance because you're so vulnerable to everything. Everything hits you super effectively. Shachi, I think Shachi is a 5 out of 10. I don't really see Shachi too much. It's not super fast. And it's really, really frail. So yeah, 5 out of 10. It's ripped though. Really strong if you can get attack off. The Halloween Shachi is a great reskin. I think that one's an 8 out of 10 for me. Rainbow Shachi, yeah, I like it a little less. Especially since I have 7 of them and no one wants them. 6 out of 10 for me. Even though I'm dropping it all the way down to 4 out of 10. Although I like it more than Halloween Gas Stroke. Seti Mars, I think Seti Mars is a pretty underrated Loomian. It can do a lot for your team. It can tank a lot. And it can Talent Trait Lazy. Talent Trait Lazy is really disruptive. And Seti Mars only becomes better after Talent Trading. And it just sits there and tanks. And it can even do Talent Trading again. Like taking something's ability and giving it to a Loomian that doesn't want that ability. It can just sit there and tank hits, rejuvenate, and I guess, chip away at stuff. People like running Blaze Chomp or Thunder Chomp. I don't know which one is more common, but I think I personally would use Thunder Chomp for Stratosaur and water types. So yeah, Seti Mars can offer a lot for your team. It's a really nice Loomian. The only issue I think is its Icicle Trap weakness and passivity. But like the passivity, it's Talent Trait, so it's always threatening still, technically. Ventation is, I think Ventation goes into it goes into 5 out of 10. Probably the best out of 5 out of 10s. It's a hard stall Loomian. But it's a really strong melee wall. It's a fat melee wall. I think recently people have been using Obsidragon and Tundra as melee walls, which is why Ventation is not used as much. But hey, Ventation can do it. So the gelatin one, I think the gelatin one I think it's a really fun one. I'm gonna put it honestly 9 out of 10. I don't have one, but I really like it. Yoursoul is a really ripped Loomian. Yoursoul is ripped. This should go into probably, I think it's fallen off and become worse than Vesperado. You can convince me otherwise. It's gonna go into 8 out of 10. It's a very oppressive Loomian. Hits so hard and threatens your like really fast attackers like Zulong. So yeah, at 2 kills Zulong with quick punch and stuff. Slapdown's really threatening. It's very similar to Vesperado. It also has a terrifying set that I don't know how to use. Your Snack is really, really good as well. I think Your Snack is all the way up at 7 out of 10. I think Seonite's a little better. Your Snack is really good. It's a slow pivoter and really melee bulky. It just sits on the melee attackers like Tyrex, Himber, stuff like that. Revenine I also think is pretty good. I personally am not much of a Revenine user, but I do still use it every now and then. I'll put it in, I think it goes a 7 out of 10 here. Vengeance as the revenge killer with specialty boots. Revenant can definitely offer quite a bit for your team. And if you predict right, you can hit the ancient switches it has hard with Dark Surge, especially if Vengeance boosted. People use the boot set the most, the really fast boots one, to really make sure that Revenant does his job as a revenge killer. I personally run the very nimble set, which is very outdated, but hey, I like it. So yeah, Revenant's not meant to be offensive. Who cares if it gets walled by Seti Mars and Luminami and Bar Blast? Your job is not to do that. Your job is to revenge kill. So yeah, that's great. Eruptidon, I think Eruptidon after getting Dark Surge, it's a pretty interesting Lumion. I don't see it very often, and honestly, it's not that hard to beat. 6 out of 10, but you could. I wouldn't be surprised to hear it's actually a lot better than that. Eruptidon, it's really slow and frail. I mean, not frail, but not bulky. Fire Breath Pyro is really strong, yes. It is a nuke. And Dark Surge is very threatening. But I don't know how you're supposed to get a Magnify off, and you kind of want the Magnify off. I think the best one for it would be Accelerate plus Magnify. Ooh. Okay, maybe it's better than I think. We'll see. Krakaloa, I think Krakaloa is a solid burner-upper. You can go into 5 out of 10. Probably better, but I'm not much of a Krakaloa user. It's a really bulky burn-up Loomian with Raging Flame to cripple opponents and much better to threaten fire types. Things like Ikazude that is trying to check. The Revenites that is trying to check. The Searnites that it's trying to check. And burn up against. If you want to beat the Hazard Setter, of course. So Krakaloa, I think it's a pretty nice Loomian. It's a really thick one. Volcaloa, definitely not good. Volcaloa goes all the way down to 4 out of 10 here. It's just weak and frail. It's really not worth it. It's not that strong. Festifer is probably 4 out of 10 as well. Kind of a wall breaker with chill, but slow. And a bad defensive typing like Waka Laka. Yeah, it's not great. Obsidragon. Obsidragon is really common. Really common. As for how good it is, I think honestly it goes into... It might be better than Eclipse now. I could be wrong. So it's the best Lumion on our list so far, in my opinion. Because it's so freaking common. Everywhere I see an Obsidragon, it threatens the body crash immunities with Primal Slash, or gets out of Drudge. Set up Drudge, sweep your opponent. Drudge, in my opinion, isn't as good as the body crasher. But hey, we'll see. It's just such a fat melee wall. It counters every melee attacker I can imagine. It counters all of... Let me see. Let me scroll through the melee attackers. Vesperado countered. Yoursoul countered. Tap countered. Searnight countered. Ursnap countered. Seti Mars countered. Borak countered. You're all countered. All the melee attackers are countered. They don't have any hope besides critting or just hitting really hard, like a +2 Volcaloa with an Ancient Essence, and maybe Power Cuffs is necessary. So yeah, Obsidian's a really good melee wall. Trumbull, another melee attacker, although I'm not gonna say this one's definitely not as good. I think Trumbull goes down to 4 out of 10. I think it can go in all the way down here. It's just its typing isn't great, and it's not fast enough, and it's not super bulky. The def nail for competitive viability that I've been talking about so much. I just need to say something. Also, there are some Lumen that can deal with it. If you get, it's also kind of prediction reliant, because if the Spirit type switches it and you don't click Earthquake, you're dead. And even if you do click Earthquake, Vesperado can probably take it. So yeah, Trumbull's not great. Mewtwo, I think, is probably worse than it. Mewtwo has Gamma Pulse, but Trumbull has freaking Rogue Assault now. Oops, give me a second. I'm back. So yeah, Mewtwo worse than Trumbull because it's weaker than Trumbull. Gobidemic, that's a really good Loomian these days. I think Gobidemic goes into the 8 out of 10. Is it better than Tap Tap? It's probably better than Tap Tap. I rank it there. I personally use the outdated and kind of dumb offensive set, but I know the power of the Barb Setter. The Barb Setter is really, really reliable. It's hard to have a Lumi that can deal with it. Himber's a great anti-leak. Gargolem outspeeds it and has Butt Slide. But, Gargolem speed. But, most of the time, it's going to get those barbs down. And it can also switch out and just come back in later to get the barbs up. Garbodemic is really good at this job. It's a great Loomian. Icicle is not a great Loomian. I think Icicle is really bad. Really, really bad. I think it goes down here. Sure, it's a slow pivoter like your snack, but it's a way worse pivoter in my opinion. I used to think it was great, but no, 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 no. Icicle is its typing is not good. It's weak to a lot of things. The Icicle colors, on the other hand, we have a lot to rank. I think the red one is a solid, pretty solid 7 out of 10. The yellow one I also like quite a bit, 6 out of 10. Green one, this is not a nice green, 4 out of 10. Nope, 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10. This one I also like, 7 out of 10. This, no, 3 out of 10. The white one's solid, 5 out of 10. The blue one's also solid, 5 out of 10. The pink one's a solid 5 out of 10. The dark red one goes into the 4 out of 10. This one goes into the 3 out of 10. Don't like that shade of brown. Orange one's pretty interesting, but I think it goes into 4 out of 10. And this Shadow Green goes into the 5 out. The 5 out of 10. It's a nicer Shadow Green than the 3 out of 10 one. Ugh. Faraglyph, I recently just did Faraglyph videos, and unfortunately, it's not a very good Loomian. I already knew that, but still. It really just isn't that great of a Loomian. I think you go down to 5 out of 10 here. Maybe Sumobi does better even. Faraglyph is just really not good. It's relatively weak, and it's super vulnerable to Shadow Sprint. It's just not worth using. You can threaten some things, but not enough. You and the melee one, the idiosyncratic one, that one's even less threatening. That one's more for like surprising something with Earthquake and Phantom Slash. Was like no, Faraglyph just isn't good. Garbantis, I personally think Garbantis goes into the. I guess a relatively solid Loomian these days, so I'll put it in the 6 out of 10. The top of the 6 out of 10. It can bulk up to boost its defense and melee attack, but honestly, I think Brace and Burrow are better because you don't boost your melee attack. You boost your defenses. You only care about your defense because Battering Ram and Body Crash both use defense. Where boosting your melee attack, you're going to take a little more damage from tricky tactics. I know it doesn't matter much, but you always want to care, but you want to maximize how good it is in competitive. So Garbantis here, I think Garbantis is a pretty solid one. Battering Ram and Body Crash are really strong. If Garbantis had a healing move, it would be a lot better. It doesn't though, so it's just a really strong Battering Rammer. But not really super strong because your Snack and Stratosaur hard counter it. So yeah, it does have some answers. Speaking of Stratosaur, there it is. I really love Stratosaur, but not PvP wise because it's annoying PvP wise. It's a really good one PvP wise. I think Stratosaur goes into the worst out of the 9 out of 10s. Could be wrong. You can disagree with me on this one. I'm not a super knowledgeable Stratosaur guy, but it's really, really, really good at its job. Just taking quite a few range hits, and it can take a melee hit if it needs to. It has two different purposes. A tank, like Gust Stratosaur or Magnify Stratosaur. Magnify Stratosaur kind of just alerts the opponent and makes them try to kill Stratosaur, which you can take advantage of that, the aggression. And the Gust one gets rid of hazards, obviously. And it can just do its job as tanking because you can invest a lot more in its defenses rather than its offenses. So yeah, really bulky Stratosaur is really good. Diberg, you are garbage. You are a Hypno Spammer. I'm gonna put IDK Lamau, but I know it's bad. I know it's bad. 1 out of 10 for me. Tyrex, oh my god, Tyrex is a 9 out of 10 for me. I don't use it, but I know what Tyrex can do. It is annoying what it can do. Terrifying can weaken your opponents, and the timing to completely hard counter things like Zulong and Snagoop, that no specific Loomian that I use all the time. Its scapegoat sharpen. It's just so annoying, so annoying. It's such a strong tank, and Health Amulet's all the recovery it needs. That's all it needs. Just stick around. You just need a pair with something that can deal with its answers, and boom, it becomes ridiculous. Like, man, Munchwheel. I think Munchwheel is a pretty nice Loomian. I'm not too sure just how good it is, but I guess I'll put it in the 7 out of 10. Is that too high? No, that's probably too high. I'll put you in the 6 out of 10 down here. Munchwheel is a pretty interesting one. Specialization Boot Steel Crusher is the most common right now, I believe, but Rev Up is still viable. Probably outclassed by Samarine though. But hey, Specialization. If there's no, if you get the right team matchup, I guess it's kind of a matchup fisher in some ways. But hey, if your opponent doesn't have a Seer Knight or something that can take Steel Crusher like a Tyrex, you're good. You're set. You just spam Steel Crusher. I've been swept by Steel Crusher before. Speaking of getting swept, Gardrone, the ultimate sweeper that I personally think is not super good. I'll put it in 5 out of 10. I'll put you around here. Gardrone is a really a boom or bust Loomian. You need to remove all of the priority from the opponent. You need to get hit by a super effective move, then accelerate, then sweep. So you need to be really careful with it. But if you do get out of it, you just sweep the opponent at that point. Unless they have like a really bulky Crackle or Charchiki to take it. Yeah, Gardrone is flawed, but it actually works quite a lot more than you think, somehow. Hunter is a really good Loomian. Hunter I put in 8 out of 10. It's probably the worst out of 8 out of 10s. Maybe I could be wrong, but hey. It has answers like Tyrex and Obsidragon. But it's just a really good late game cleaner. Really fast, hits really hard. And it's got the coverage too. Chili Tumble destroy the Earth type, which are its most common answer. Tyrex is of course a problem, but hey, it's a problem for a lot of Loomians. So, alright, Arapago, I have no idea how good this is. I do not know. People told me it's really good. People told me it's really bad, so I don't know. This Arapago looks pretty cool. I'm putting you in the 6 out of 10. This Arapago, I actually own one of these. I think it goes into the 5 out of 10. It's pretty cool. This one, really cool. I'll put you in 7 out of 10. Skellic I don't think is that great. I think Skellic belongs in the 4 out of 10, worse than Terraclaw area. Maybe it's probably worse than Smolder. It's just not a very strong sweeper, not as strong as the setup. It's not worth using Skellic. Joltooth I think is a little better, but no. I'll put you at the bottom of the 5 out of 10s because Joltooth, it's slow and frail. I mean, not frail, but not bulky. It's really strong, but it's kind of prediction reliant as well. Either get it in on something you can threaten and predict whether they'll swap or not and what they swap into. And if you get it wrong, your Joltooth is dead. So yeah, it's a good beta phaser, I guess. Infernix, I have no idea how good Infernix is. I remember it was really good for a while. Then it changed to be a little worse. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for some opinions on Infernix. At the moment, I guess personally, I would rank right now. I would rank it somewhere with around 7 the high 7 out of 10. I think it's still a great Lumion, but some people have told me it's unviable, which I don't know what to do at that point. Is it, or is it still really good? You I'm gonna put at the Dargo sucks. It's just so weak. Gobidemic's better than it if you want a barb setter. Don't use Dorogo. Use Gobidemic or Gargle and Speed. Maramurk people have told me is bad. You can disagree. But I'm gonna shove Maramurk into high 7 out of 10. It's a really bulky bulk up Lumion. And its photosynthesis, it's got an alright enough defensive typing. Once you set up on the bulkers, you destroy. It's really good at setting up on anything besides toxic types, dark types, or really, really strong Lumions like Borak. That's a lot. That's a lot of things it can set up on. They can set up on a Tyrex, a Searnite, a Luminami, a Zulong, a Revenant, I guess. Really, really good at that. Meditode. I think Meditode needs its own tier. It's such a ridiculous Lumion. I haven't done a video on Meditode yet. Blowtox. I think Blowtox happened just 2 Hawks lost by Barblast recently. It's still not bad in its own right, so I'll put it at the top of 4 out of 10. But Barblast is just better because Barblast is 10 out of 10. No, it's a probably here. Honestly, it's so good. It tanks everything, hits really, really hard, and like. It has Power Focus and Icicle Trance. Power Focus for Venolan matchups, Icicle Trance for general matchups. And it's Poison. It's Poison. For like, if you want to poison the Eclipse, but you don't want to leave your Barblast in to attack it. It's so good. Just hits so hard and tanks so well. Garlash, I personally think Garlash is a pretty solid Lumion. Pretty solid. Like an A- area. They're really just solid tier. 7 out of 10 is pretty much A- in my opinion right now. So I'll put it over here. Maybe, I think Revenant's better. Garlash hits really hard. It can actually threaten everything in 7 out of 10 besides your snack. Which is fun. It's just funny to me. Garlash, it just hits really hard. Barblast is a really good counter though. Things like that. Zulong outspeeds it, Snagoop outspeeds it, Tatab outspeeds it, Gobidemic outspeeds it. So it has some threats, but if you can get a position where it can attack, it'll attack hard for you. Deldrix, that is a really good Lumion right now. I'm personally a huge Deldrix user. I'm putting Deldrix at the bottom of 9 out of 10. You know what? Screw it. I'm putting it better than Stratosaur. Could be wrong though. It hits really hard. Threatens Tyrex. Electric is great coverage for it. Ferroblast is a nice spammable move. It's really fast and really strong. Boots, very smart, is super, super good. Clutch Plushie, very nimble, is also quite nice. Deldrix is so good. It's so good. Colossal Traps, I'm not sure how good this one is. I really don't know how good Colossal Traps is. I haven't heard any opinions on it. I don't even know a personal ranking. Haganosh? I hate Haganosh. It let me down so much when I use it. You're going into down here. It's probably better, but screw Haganosh, man. Mojo's probably similar to Guardrone level. I think Mojo's a little better than Guardrone. Let's boom or bust. You don't have to get hit by a super effective move. You don't have to be at 1 HP so you die to every priority. You can do other things. So yeah, Mojo, 5 out of 10. It's fine. Spreezy, I actually really know how good Spreezy is. I think it's fallen off, but I don't think it's that great. I like it though. It's cute. Whippledrift, I think Whippledrift. It's a pretty nice Lumion. Another boom or bust sweeper, but probably the best out of these three. There's probably even more boom or bust sweepers coming soon. So yeah, you're gonna go into there. Ooh, the Mario illusions now. I guess all the rainbow ones we'll just put 5 out of 10. Meh. I guess I'll rank them by how much I like them. Each rainbow. I think Zeppelin goes at the top. That's my favorite one. I like Zeppelin the most of all of them. Uh, just slowly moving them all out. What's Rainbow Tundraland? I guess no Rainbow Tundraland. Uh, Zeppelin, Wendelin probably goes a second. Pyrolin third. Wrestlin fourth. Kirillin fifth. Venilin sixth. Buzzlin seventh. And of course, Servalin eighth. Of course. Servalin is also a really bad Loomian. It's just not strong. It's just not worth using. It is outclassed hard by a lot of other melee normal types. You're going down into 3 out of 10 in my opinion. Probably lower, honestly. Wendelin, you're going into the I think Wendelin's gotten better, but it's just too frail. It's strong, but just a little too weak. Like one hit KO. It's not one hit KO everything strong, so probably a 4 out of 10 for me. Maybe better though. Could be better. I could be wrong. I'll put at the just really low 5 out of 10. I think it actually goes here. Yeah, that looks a lot better to me. Kirillin, probably a similar tier. I really don't fight Kirillin often enough to know. It's just a hard wall breaker. That's what it is. Zeppelin, I think Zeppelin is quite a bit better than the others. I think Zeppelin goes into the high 6 out of 10. It's not common, but it is really strong. It's really strong. It's a very it's good. It has mudslide. That's great coverage. Once it gets landslide, oh, this thing is a beast. Venilin is probably somewhere at 9 out of 10. I think Venilin goes up here. It's a really, really good range wall. It just takes on Zulong, Deladrix, and most range attackers, if not all. Is there any range attacker that can deal with it? I guess setup range attackers. And Spectode. Okay. So there's something that can deal with Venilin. Wrestlin's a really strong Lumen that has fallen off quite a bit, I think. But in my personal opinion, it should stay in here. Yeah, definitely fallen off quite a bit. But hey, still good. Still good. Still worth using. It's really strong. Buzzlin. Oh, this one is not a good one. Buzzlin is going down here. Tundra, that's another really good one, but people like to use Obsidian. I'm going to rank Tundra on its own, though, like separate from Obsidian. It's its own Loomian. In that regard, I think it goes into the 8 out of 10 tier. Because it does what Obsidian does, just Obsidian's more popular. And probably easier to get. Pyrolin, you are probably a really good Loomian. I think Pyrolin goes into the top of 7 out of 10. It's a really good Loomian. Setting up, fanning flames, a great ability. It threatens a lot of stuff. It's bulky and strong. That's pretty good. Oxydrake is probably going to be a... Where does Oxydrake go? Probably I'll put it at the bottom of 8 out of 10. Could be wrong. I haven't seen that many Oxydrake, but I know the power of it. I'll put it a little lower. I'll put you down here. So yeah, Oxydrake is a pretty dang strong Loomian. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Bulking up is really makes this thing insane. I remember when Adlacha was broken. Remember that time? Harva Sect. Gonna pronounce it correctly so that YouTube subtitles don't destroy me. They might still, but who knows. Where do you go? I know it's good. I think Harv goes into here. Could be... You can convince me that it's not better. But... After Tata became really good, Tyrex is still really common. I think it goes here. Hunter's still good. It's just a really good counter to some specific Loomians, but it's really good at that. Windrix is definitely one of the best Loomians at the moment. I think Windrix goes into over here. Better than Eclipse. It's everywhere right now because you can get it in Jolly Village. Honestly, I think it was still everywhere, even before that. So yeah, Snagoop. It's my favorite Loomian. I'm gonna be honest with the ranking, okay? I'm gonna try and be honest. Where does Snagoop go? I know Snagoop is in general is also really good. I think it goes 7 out of 10 here. It's really strong. I love Snagoop. It's probably even higher, honestly. But I'm not a professional. I'm not that professional. Snagoop can go here. It's a really, really strong one. And Buck Up is really strong. And if it doesn't use Buck Up as Barter Volcanic Ash, I personally use Poison Bomb to that. Don't do that. Don't do that. okay, this is not a good one. This is not a good Loomian. This is not a good Loomian. Banfino is also not a good Loomian. Oh no. Probably I do like it a lot more than Tsukami though. I really like Banfino. It's a cool dolphin. I love dolphins. We all love dolphins. Cannibal, it's better than the other. It can go into the 5 out of 10 tier. It can be 5 out of 10. It can be 5 out of 10 here. It was really good at launch, but after some time, it's kind of faded to the wayside. It's just not as good. Not as good. Driving Force Ambush is really strong though. Samarine has also kind of fallen off. I don't think it was used that much to begin with. Probably around Cannibal's level. It's another one of those sweeper type Lumians. You know, I'll put it with the sweepers. I think it goes here. Garder's. I just don't think Garder. It's just too unreliable in my opinion. Who knows? Lumello, a barb setter. You can go into the. People don't use Lumello as much anymore. I think Lumello is probably here, but you can convince me that it's good though. I know Lumello can be good. Jealosa. Okay, we're gonna do Jealosa design. Jealosa is gonna go into the. I think it's an interesting design. I think Jealosa can go into. I guess around here. The bottom of 7 out of 10. I think it's a nice enough design. Light type is pretty interesting for a jellyfish. It's got a really interesting design. Like one of those really ocean depth things. Jellyfish down there. Taoshinu. This thing pretty much forces me to bring a provoke user to every battle I do. Taoshinu is. That's kind of its issue though. Provoke. In my opinion, it's not a very reliable thing. So I'll put it 6 out of 10, but if you can set bulk ups up and bequeath them to something like Nevermare or Hunder, that's really good. Lyricat is not good. It's way too weak. It's just too weak. I think Lyricat goes slightly lower than Mewtwo. No, it's worse than Manfino in my opinion. Bootery, this one I don't know because no one knows. It depends on what you transformed into. Cleone? Okay, well, I'm just gonna leave that there and move on. It's such a good design. It's so good. Sinogre, people tell me Sinogre's not good. Only people only use it for spite. After using Sinogre for a little longer, I kind of understood. But as a Sinogre user, I'm not too fussed about it. I'll put you in 5 out of 10 down here just to make the viewers happy. But I would personally put Sinogre quite a bit higher. It does good work for me. It's done some good work, and I haven't been using it as much recently, but that's only because there's other things I want to use. And I'm probably gonna go back to Sinogre. All right, all of you are complete garbage. I hate it. Swirl is dumb. Don't use Swirl. Don't use it. It's so cheesy. Fiscarna, that's a pretty good Lumion. Fiscarna's a pretty good one. I think recently after, what was it that came out that kind of outclassed Fiscarna? I know there's another bulky water that kind of just does what Fiscarna does, but I can't think of what the bulky water is. Is it Barblast? It might just be Barblast, honestly. Fiscarna probably goes. It's a pretty solid Lumion. It's a pretty solid one. I think it goes into the here around this area because it's a great range tank. Regive is an amazing ability, so yeah, it's a pretty good one. Baneki, people tell me Baneki's good, and I don't get it. Is it? I'm gonna put an IDK Lamau because I actually don't know. How good is Baneki? Because I personally don't think it's good at all. I think it's way too weak. I don't use Baneki. but I think it's way too weak. But some people tell me it's good. So I don't know. Sea Drake, I think Sea Drake can go into. I love Sea Drake's design. We all do. We all think Sea Drake's awesome. But unfortunately, I think it belongs in here. Which kind of sad, but hey, it's the truth. At the competitive scene, it's just not strong. It's just not immediately strong enough. It needs boots to if it doesn't run boots and instead runs plant essence or something, then it's too slow. So like that's an issue. I find that's a really good Loomian. That's a really good one. I think you go into the 8 out of 10 here. Probably better than Tatab. It's a really, really good boots user. Again, the middle speed tier that we mentioned at the start of the video. Havanic is there. 85. Even higher than the 82 that, whatever it was, had. What was it that I was talking about that had 82 speed? I'm looking around right now and I can't find it. I think I'm just blind, but... Okay, well, yeah. Halvat is a really great boot user. It has bulk up options too. So yeah, that's really good. Imperior, also really good. The two Halloween Loomians were really, really good. Resentful just is such a good ability. Just you can basically let Imperior die and kill an opponent's Loomian, which is really good. And Imperior can do things before that, so Imperior can do even more. Especially Barter Volcanica. That's a really dangerous one that I don't use because mine's smart personality, so I want to use range attack stat. But man. Dusket, I personally think Dusket is a pretty okay Loomian. It's a pretty okay one. I'll put it at the bottom of 6. No, I'll put it here. Here. I just think it's too vulnerable to Shadow Sprint, Dark types, and it doesn't hit that hard enough. Like an El Iguana can still be annoying. Now for the Halloween Duskets, I think the purple one is by and large the best. And the other one, the red can go into 5 out of 10. Orange can go into 3 out of 10. That's not a nice orange in my opinion. Yellow's a little too bright for me. 4 out of 10. Green, I think this green is a lot better. The blue one's really good too. The purple and blue are really good at Dusket. And the rainbow Dusket is, I guess, about as good as the rainbow Twilight. Ikazune, I think after the Ikazune buff, Ikazune's got a lot better. Probably gonna go into 7 out of 10. It's a fast boots pivoter. That's pretty much all it does, and I guess it can do late game cleaning too. It's a really fast boots user. So yeah, Ikazune, great Loomian these days, which I'm happy to see. How the Christmas Ikazune probably, I don't like it too much, but I guess it's fine. 5 out of 10. Okay, this shade of red is not as nice. 3 out of 10 for me. Orange, also 3 out of 10. Yellow, quite a bit better. 5 out of 10. Green, 4 out of 10. Blue, 5 out of 10. And the purple one is 6 out of 10. Protogon, I think people told me, I don't know why, but people think Protogon's not good anymore. It is still good. It is good. 8 out of 10 for me. Probably the worst out. No. I think it's better than Tundrolin. Yeah, it's better than Tundrolin in my opinion. It's a really, really strong sweeping run. It hits so hard. I don't know why people don't think Protogon's good anymore. Thunderstrike can damage Seonite. It hits really hard. Sure, it's walled by range walls, but of course it is. It's a range attacker. What's a range attacker that doesn't get walled by range walls? And it can have Steel Crusher to threaten Venolin if it needs to. Okay, the Halloween Protogon is a top tier design. Why is all the 10 out of 10 just designs? We got Cleone, Protogon, and Avatros. I'm gonna use a team of once we get this to 7 Loomians, we're gonna just use a team of these. Once Cleone comes out, of course. Which I've been saving my CP. If you guys are wondering why, I'll just say why I'm saving my CP. I'm saving it before Cleone comes out. I want a PvP one. I'm saving for all the gummies I need. Mutagon. This one you definitely will disagree with me on. But in my opinion, it's 8 out of 10. I just haven't struggled with it. It's just so vulnerable to spirit types and even Snagoops and stuff. Or Gobidemics. And of course, Harv is a hard counter. Vesperal is a hard counter. I don't know why people tell me this is an Uber. Actually, okay, I do know why. It is really oppressive. But, no, I'm putting it down here. Ice Mutant Guns. This is a pretty good, pretty solid reskin. 6 out of 10. Cephalops. I think Cephalops is. I'm not much of a Cephalops user, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm not too sure how good this is. So it's okay if you disagree with me. I'm gonna put it in here. It's a solid, really good 8 out of 10. You can disagree with me. It's fine. Red Cephalops is definitely my favorite one. 6 out of 10. The orange one, 3 out of 10. The yellow one, it's okay. 4 out of 10. The other green one, ooh, this is a nice green. This one goes into 5 out of 10. Oh, I put the. Oh, oops. The blue one is amazing. 7 out of 10. The purple one is probably 5 out of 10. Elephage, I'm not too sure how good Elephage is. I think Elephage can go here, but I guess it's not super good. Phage Not's a good Loomian. Phage Not is definitely a good Loomian. This one can go into here. It's a nice pivoter. It's got some good melee bulk, and it can magnify up. You can either use a really strong overcharge set with magnify to sweep or boots, or you could use a more tanky variant with teardown or things like that. Yeah, Phage Not definitely a great Loomian. Metronet, I think Metronet belongs in the I actually don't know how good it is. I remember it was Ubers, now I have no idea. Okay, I'll just leave all the Cosmeres down here. There's way too many. I see it already. There's way too many. Wobelisk, that's a pretty tanky one. And it's a really good wall. And I hate fighting it. So that should give you an idea of how good it is. I think Wobelisk belongs in over here. I hate Wobelisk, but I know the power of it. Which is why I hate it. Driving, force spamming, being really bulky, health amulet to heal, and deep freeze to kill my bar blast. Nimore, not Nimore. I don't call it that anymore. I actually don't know how good this is. I'm gonna put it 90k. I haven't really seen any. I guess it's pretty good though, in my opinion. So all the Cosmires, there's way too many. So I'll just take one random encased one. Or I guess I can put all the encased ones. We'll do that. Encased, patience is a virtue, everybody. Please wait. I have no idea how good these Cosmires are. The other ones, though, okay, we're gonna rank all of them by design. But so I'll just say how good it is right now. I think it's a pretty good Loomian, pretty good. The yellow one, 5 out of 10, not bad. Purple one, pretty good, 6 out of 10. The red one, it's not good. The other red ones, 5 out of 10. The blue one, a solid 5 out of 10. The brown one, 3 out of 10. It's poop brown. The green one, turquoise is my favorite color, 6 out of 10. It's turquoise. Orange, 4 out of 10. And the pink one that I have, 4 out of 10. Actually, the pink actually looks pretty fun, 5 out of 10. Nevermore, this is a really, really strong Loomian. This one goes into the 9 out of 10. It's a really good Loomian. It's super fast, really strong, super high crit chance, and it's bulk up. It just hits really hard. It's a great late game cleaner. And it can take range hits, too. It's a high range defense. This is my favorite roamer. I love this one so much, but I don't think it's that good. I mean, it's not that bad. I'll put it in 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 out of 10 actually looks pretty good to me. I wish it was better, but it's probably not. Zarkalis is a Brawn Boost user. I actually seen people use Boots Zarkalis with Deep Freeze. I don't think that's great. I definitely think Brawn Boost is much better. Because you can set up on some Loomians. Zarkalis gets a lot of setup opportunities. It's a great Windtrix answer. I can say that. That's a point in Zarkalis' favor. So yeah, Zarkalis is good. Gargolem normal. Ooh, this one's not good. Ooh, this is not a good Loomian. I guess 4 out of 10, but no. Gargolem attack. Oh boy, this thing is really strong. Just how good is it? It's such a weird Lumion to determine how good it is. I think I'm gonna rank it at the bottom of 8 out of 10. You don't know, no. Could be wrong. I'll put it there. It's definitely not Ubers though. Niraj. Gargoyle defense is probably a uh, uh, top of 5 out of 10. Does that sound good to anybody? I guess. Gargoyle speed, the final one that I use a lot. I guess I'll rank it similarly to Gobidemic. Gobidemic's more popular though, and I'm not too sure why. I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. So yeah, this is my ranking for all the Lumions. I'm pretty happy with this ranking, and it looks like it isn't too inaccurate because the top 5 Lumions are what most people consider top 5 besides Zulong. So yeah, this is my ranking. Hope you all enjoyed this video, guys. Leave a like, everybody. Subscribe. Let me know what you want to see me do in the future. Have a great day, everybody. And peace.